Hello everyone. Welcome. I feel like I should bring my ring light here. I mean, it's not my ring light technically. It's like this cube box thing, whatever. But hi everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, hi, nice to see you. Welcome to the deepest corner of the internet. If you're not new here, hi girl, how's it going? So, I'm currently in my room. You may notice that it's getting empty in here because I'm planning on moving soon, and it's scary moving because I never know when it comes to things like this. I'm kind of like I'm a kid. I don't know how to move. I honestly don't. I never know how to move. But here's my salad. This is my dinner. I'm hungry. I don't know if it's because of the salad that's making me hungry, or the fact that I've been in a diet for about 2 weeks, cutting slowly my diet. And I feel like that Beyonce video clip that's like, I'm hungry. I only had an apple and I want food. And that's how I feel, Not that I'm saying that I am Beyonce, but oh my God, I'm hungry. I'm just hungry, I just wanted to talk to y'all for a moment because I usually like to upload a video at least once a month. That's like my goal. That's kind of this. I feel like this lighting is not giving me justice. So let me remember where I put my stuff because I can't remember. Is it here? No. Is it here? Yes, it's here. So let me see if it's okay. Found it. Okay. Vamos a ver. I'm not the type of person that says like all the time, but I'm the person that says okay. Like, okay, girl, okay. Like, is it okay? Is it okay? There we go. I feel like that makes a difference. Now you can see my pores and all my hair balding. I'm not balding, but when I see things like this, I'm like, okay, let's put that back. Anyways, thumbnail. Thumbnail. Okay. So I'm eating this Caesar salad. I like this salad so much. I'm a very plain person when it comes to my salad. Don't get me wrong. I love when a salad has a lot of veggies, and it just does oh my God, and it just does its own flavor. But when it's just a simple salad like this, I'm kind of like, yes. Well, yes. Oops. So what's new? I'm moving. That's one. ¿Qué más? For me, this month was about reflection. Reflection on endings. And to me, if you know me, you know that I'm not afraid of endings. If anything, I embrace it because I feel like the more you embrace endings, the more you end up becoming more self-aware of beginnings, and you appreciate those life beginnings more than often. Um, and I just really been recognizing those endings. So I do have a current family member that is, going through that phase in life. And I try not to like think too much about it, right? Not to be a Debbie Downer over here, okay? But, you know, it makes you realize that at the end of the day, humans are not immortal. Is that the right word? Where one day they're gonna poof, and you just kind of don't know what happens next. And it's just one of those things that you just have to accept. And I'm like, I don't want to accept. I don't want to accept. But um that's just life, that's a life update. Besides actual endings, I also been going through a lot of personal relationship endings. I feel like, in a sense, where my values don't align with certain people, and it's hard to conceptualize, if I say so myself. It's hard to sometimes you just gotta eat it out with something. That's my coping mechanism. When like when something really crazy happens in my life, I kind of like want to nibble here and there. And that's why I've been trying to be more, como se dice, like more careful. Because don't get me wrong, like I at the end of the day, no matter what anyone says, at the end of the day, you're gonna care about your appearance. Sorry to say it first here, breaking news, but you're gonna care about your appearance one day or the other. That's why when people grow old, people are scared of getting wrinkles. And I don't know. At the age of 24, I'm already thinking about Botox because I see that other girls, and I shouldn't be doing this too. I should also be doing a social media detox because that is also whatever. That lip filler and Botox, and I'm all pro, like, do whatever you want to do. One day I'm gonna do that. Like, if y'all see me sculpted, like at the end, towards the end, and if I look like to the gods, sculpted by the age of 70, just know that I did get some work done, right? But right now I shouldn't be overthinking my beauty per se. And I think that's just something that every 24-year-old girl goes to, like at one point you're just going to start caring a little bit more and more about your appearance. So when life happens, and this is very common, you'll see, for me personally, I can speak for my own experience. When I see myself go through something really, really traumatic or crazy, I tend to get very nervous, anxious. My nails are not done. My nails are not done. And I tend to like criticize myself a lot more. What is in here? I ordered I ordered food just because I've been cooking, and usually my thing is like, if I cook for the most part in the week, I'll order something out. But again, healthy alternatives. Actually, let me get my water. I'm kind of thirsty. She's new. I don't think y'all seen her. Look at her. Look at her. So this was gifted to me, and ever since then, I feel like it gives me motivation, to like drink more water. Because again, like I'm good with drinking water. It's just when I go through really rough times in my life, I really don't want to drink water. Like that's kind of like the last thing I want to do. But even through tough times, we always need to take care of one another. Um, More than ever, I feel so. And I don't want to be controversial, but we're going to be a little controversial here actually. So, and this is something that I've been thinking about for a while, and I kind of am disappointed, and I know this shouldn't really impact me, or sometimes when it comes to these kinds of topics, I always want to shy away from it because that's the normal instinct for someone to do. And like I'm like the average person, okay? There's just so much that I want to say about this, but it's not particularly about her as Trevino, but rather more so her story. Before I say anything, sorry, I'm burping. I'm burping. Give me a moment. That water really is making me through. But before I start saying what I want to say, this is not controversial. It is controversial, then whatever, it is going to be what it is. But I want to preface this by saying that I do not support whatever the allegations are. The allegations are extremely wild. Everyone can totally agree on that. I agree on that. Like, the allegations are crazy. But the one thing I do want to focus more is the entirety of her story, but also removing some parts of it. So, removing the allegations, even though that do play a big factor, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit. But this is just something also that's been on my mind, and how I relate to the story. Not only her story, but also her daughter's story. Her daughter's story. Sorry, that kind of butchered. Because I feel like the community has not been able to fully recognize or be aware of her story in the way that it should be talked about. Like, yes, hee haha about X, Y, and Z, the diet, the appearance, the X, Y, and Z. But I feel like a lot of people fail to recognize that her story is very quite similar to all Hispanic or Latino stories that come from low income, who don't have a financial stability in their life, and they could possibly rely on other people, more specifically the male dominated persona, whoever that may be. And just her story is real, and I don't think it's fair for people to dehumanize her. Um, Again, allegations stand there, but I'm separating her from the allegations and just rather more so her story that it is. The reason why I say this, and the reason why I kind of am like irritated, and the way that mostly the Latino Hispanic community is responding to her story and letting this woman's story get criticized back and forth. And I find it very hypocritical because sometimes these other side of the community can be more privileged than others. And you get to see this division in where we are right now in society. And I just want to elaborate a little bit more that, just to kind of flip the other side of the coin. I know you probably have heard about, oh, what she does is so horrible, blah blah blah, how can people like this live, X, Y, and Z, call CPR, X, Y, and Z. Is it CPR? Is it child services protected? You get what I'm saying, right? And I want to start this off by saying that, like, again, I'm reinforcing this narrative too, where the allegations are allegations. They're gonna be there. They're gonna hold still. There is that portion that holds in her story, but for the context of what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna remove that. I'm not, como se dice, like I'm not gonna actually remove it in the entirety of her story per se, but I want to shift the perspective a little bit, okay? Just want to see other sides, okay? So her story, being a single mother, having prison lovers, and being able to raise her two daughters that I feel like they don't get to elaborate or express on a lot, especially the oldest daughter. If you come from an oldest daughter Mexican household, raise your hand in the comments because me too, girl. But being the oldest daughter, and I get it. When I was at that age, when I was going through family troubles, girl, I did not want to talk about anything. I was very, very much insecure. Like I was very much insecure, and especially coming from a very poverty, for my example, coming from a very poverty household, a low income poverty household. And I know as Trevino doesn't want to continue with this narrative that she probably, X, Y, and Z. She has this Louis V bag. I wish I could put a photo here and like edit it. Probably will do after this. A Louis V bag that is literally a duffel bag. It probably is the cheapest, and she probably got it like pre-owned. And what the hell is wrong with that? I feel like people put a lot of this context of like, because a person looks a certain way and is tacky, what they do automatically is tacky. But if it was the other way around, if it was a privileged person from the same community, even another community, they would not be looked down upon. And the reason why I want to just talk a little bit more about this is because it's kind of unfair of the backlash, especially when it comes to women in the Hispanic community, because for the most part, some of y'all probably have dads, uncles, like brothers that have done much, much worse things. And I'm not like speaking this for everybody on behalf, right? But I'm just saying in general, there has been cases that your father figure, male figure in the household has probably done worse stuff than the average woman, like Hispanic woman in the household. She is a single mother and raising two kids. And yes, the mentality that is shown, that she shows to her viewers or anyone that's watching, definitely does reflect a certain specific state of mind. And I would say personally, and I'm not diagnosing her, I'm none of that, but I will say it's more of a survival mode. Everything, especially if, and here, let me put this into perspective. A lot of people want to question, why are we in the state that we are now as a country if sometimes we want things to progress more, right? And let me put this into perspective. If you're not from the city and you are from a rural place in the middle of nowhere in Texas or in South Carolina or Alabama, you will not relate to people who come in cities that have at least a more bit of privilege and money or income in that sort. If you are in the middle of nowhere, especially in Texas, and I can speak from this because I'm from Texas, girl, it does get a little bit more complicated. Money is not easy. The minimum wage in Texas is 7.25 or 75. It increased. That this girl, with egg prices being a dozen being $5, you think that's gonna save that's gonna save you? No. And a lot of people don't understand this. People don't have like they don't emphasize with these people that are not on social media the way that she looks. And I hate that everyone's attacking her for her appearance, because that is the reality of so many women who don't live off social media. So many people are so brainwashed by the way that media is portraying with Botox and fillers and X, Y, and Z when they're older. And some of those people have that privilege. And yes, some of those people can do it. I'm not against it. No one's against it. No one's saying that. It's just that when you don't have the funds or the income or the ability to do so, or even the resources, especially if you're in the middle of nowhere in a land field, literally, Texas is so flat where some of the towns only have like 90 people living in them. 90 compared to the city where you probably have more doctors, more hospitals, obviously more population. And and that is terrifying to know that people can easily criticize you no matter where you're from you know and so when you put this into perspective, the way that she looks, yes, diet does play a role into that, of course, I'm not going to deny that. But when I see her, I see faces of so many Hispanic Latina women, the way that they look in the southern area, southern border. And and it's crazy to me because sometimes a lot of people don't, I guess, don't put the pieces together, or they can't conceptualize what it's like living in such a rural area, especially in South Texas, where she's from, South Texas, San Antonio. Hey, at least she's in a little bit more economic state. Where I'm from, it's a little bit more south, and these stories are real. Her story is real. Not just her, she's the only first person, if I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, she is the first person that has blown up with her story. Her story that has so many details, and of course, again, like big emphasis on the allegations. We're not going to deny that. We're not going to deny those allegations. Those allegations are there. Of course, that's part of her story, but there is more to that, you know? And another thing is that I think a lot of the criticism and drama and rumors come from the internet. As much as people want to say, "Oh, I'm not a hater, but X, Y, and Z," you're still a hater. You're still a hater. Just say that. Just say that. You can criticize, you can do all of this in X, Y, and Z, but don't ever say that you're not a hater. Like, just be a hater. What's the whole point of lying and disguising it and stuff? And her story is just one of those things that just makes it real, for sure. Where and I can relate to this because I I have lived through a very similar story through her. And if no one's going to talk about their own personal story, then let it be me. Let it be me. You know, because everyone wants to act very much privileged, that they don't have to suffer through X, Y, and Z. But her stories it's literally an opening to what the Hispanic Latino community is. And I think it brings a lot to the table, especially in a place and time where we are still divided. People don't see us, or don't believe our stories are real. We actually get pushed around a lot. And it's scary because I shouldn't live in fear. My family shouldn't never ever live in fear. My friends' family should never live in fear. And I think that, as every mother does, they're trying their best to bring the best life to their children. And although it may not be the right ways, and although it may cause a lot of issues personally within the household, it is still a part of survival, a survive method to continue pushing forward and continue breaking that generational trauma that a lot of Hispanics and Latinos suffer and go through every day. Now, with that being said, her daughters are still underage, so I feel like I wouldn't feel comfortable to elaborate too much on their situation or what they're going through, X, Y, and Z. I feel like they will talk at their own time, you know? What I will say is that a lot of people are so quick to jump into the conclusion that, you know, the jealousy, the X, Y, and Z, and this external perception that the audience is projecting onto this whole dynamic. Some of it could be true, some of it cannot be true. Again, I don't know them, and you probably don't know them at all. So this is just speculation, allegations, everything in between, right? But I just wanted to just talk about this a little bit because I feel like it deserves to have a platform and awareness to people recognize that these are human beings that are living and fighting every day for their lives to have a better life. And if you think her story is crazy or out of this world and calling CPS or all this other stuff, it's kind of like you don't even know the half of it. You probably have neighbors that are probably going through worse and you don't check up on them because you're rather more worried about someone on the internet more creating these allegations rather more so than checking in. And you know, it's more about her story, if anything, should be a wake up call that we should be united with one another rather than so be so concerned with someone on the internet. You know what I'm saying? um and another thing I wanted to add to this, as an oldest daughter, where are the oldest daughters? Right here, right? Her story reminds me a lot of a story I once had, you know? It's not my story anymore, but it is a story that it's real, and it just saddens me that a lot of people don't come out and talk about these stories, either because one, they're too shy, or they don't want to talk about the low income poverty they once had story, or they don't want to be seen in that way, the classic cliche Mexican story, or the oldest story, or the trauma that comes with that, you know? And I get it. You know, a lot of people want to divide us and makes it we want to make ourselves be more American so people don't see that we have a nopal en la mera frente. But no matter what I do, I mean, I can't hide the fact that I look like this too. I'm, you know, I get stopped in the street and be like, "Oh my gosh, she look different. Like, where you from?" I'm from Texas. They're like, "No, where you from?" And I'm like, Mexico. That's exactly what they want me to say. They want me to say that I'm that because I look exotic. I look exotic and I look so different and oh my god, like I can't hide it, you know? And I feel because people don't see people like as Trevino or people like me or just people in general that just obviously just are afraid to share those stories because, to be honest, here in America, you get easily criticized and rapidly shredded to threads, you know, like it's this big thing. And so I wanted to shed light on this because I have once lived a story like this. And I want to give myself and other people who may be feeling like this because I guarantee you there is this little person, little kid that's watching all these Latino, Hispanic community influencers, whatever, and they feel ashamed. They feel ashamed for living a life that's their world is collided with probably an Ash Trevino in their life. They feel ashamed. They feel like they should hide their identity, and they shouldn't. No kid should ever hide their identity or where they come from at all. So, if I can spare myself a little bit of time here, I I do feel the oldest daughter story. I know where she's going through and X, Y, and Z. I have lived a personal story like that where being the oldest daughter was never easy. The route was never easy. And having to face the consequences of your parents is also another trauma in itself. If it's not by the public eye, it's through like your everyday life, like especially if you come from a very small town, in a very rural town of Texas, or again somewhere in the South. People are going to know your business whether you like it or not. People are going to know your business, and that is just the scary part. If it's because it's online, it's like, okay, you can never come find me, you can never touch me, you can never, you can never do anything of that. But in towns, girl, you're gonna pull up on me. Oh no. No, one time, like, it happened to me. Like, it happened, girl. So one time, and I like to tell this story because it's kind of funny, but I know it probably is not funny to a lot of people. But my story takes place also when I first saw my first sword fight. When I was a kid, I learned how to ride a bike. Yes, that happened. But I also went through an experience where, um, at the time, my mom was seeing two different boyfriends, and she ended one with someone, and she got with someone else. And so these men were probably not the nicest people to be around with, right? And one midnight, on a very hot summer night, um, one of her ex boyfriends comes to the house. We used to have AC, like the air conditioner on the window, not the actual AC, like through the house vents. And so one night I was sleeping, um, and all of a sudden they take down the AC and they chop it with a machete. They chop it with a machete. And obviously that woke me the fuck up. I was like, what? I was like, I think I was 10 when this happened to me. Like when I saw this happen, not to me, but like when it happened, right? And obviously all I could see was her ex-boyfriend being really upset. And I was like, "Oh my god, what's happening? I don't know what's happening." And then I don't know how it all, like, it's all a blur in my mind because I really try not to think about that. It's kind of weird that like, if I had a nickel for every time that happened, I would have one sword fight nickel. But it's weird that it happened. And so the next thing I know, we had actually gone grocery shopping at HEB. And so there were a bunch of bags on the floor in the living room. And all of a sudden, the front door knocks down, and they enter. So an intruder is inside my house, in this like casita mia of my mom that she tried so hard to find us a house, because I used to live like in a little small shelter house, and so we upgraded. Like, honestly, that was my version of luxury. Like, damn, I upgraded. Yeah. Um and so when that happened, when an intruder came in with a machete, with a fucking sword, uh with a freaking sword. I'm trying not to cuss because I don't want to get demonetized here on YouTube. With a freaking sword. And then the boyfriend that my mom was seeing at the time, again, middle of the night, everybody wakes up. Then he comes in to be like the guard, the guard man, and he brings his own machete too. Like, I don't know how he brought that. I don't know how he brought that up, but he did. And so they meet in the living room. The intruder, ex-boyfriend of my mom, and I guess the the protector, which is my mom's boyfriend, comes in, and they start like this, like, just, if let me see, just go, they go like this, right? Like, this is all you see happening in front, and my mom's like crying, and she's like hysterical, like, what's going on? And I'm by like the door, and I'm like looking what's going on, and my mom's like, no, go back to your room, go back to your room. And yeah, they got tangled up in the HEB plastic bags, and they were fighting there for a while, and one thing led to another. My mom called the cops, and like, yeah, all that happened. crazy that it happened, right? But this is a story that is part of me, and I experienced that and I lived that. And stories like this exist because when you are trying to survive in an area, you probably may not make the best choices for yourself, especially for your children, and your children get to unfortunately see that side, the not so great side. And although like you never want them to go through that, sometimes it's part of just survival. So that's essentially wanted to talk about and just give a little bit more perspective on her story, to give more platform, because I feel like there's a lot of hee hee haha from everybody, from just even bashing this woman, and fairly right. So okay, allegations are still standing there. I need to emphasize that every time. Allegations still stand there, but at least give a platform that her stories are real and they need to be seen, and that people should not just criticize like blindly into it, because these stories are real. And if you continue to hide these stories and push them under the rug and like sweep them under the rug, you hide these stories, and people will continue living thinking that there's not an issue, that this is a real conversation within our community that needs to be talked about, spread about, especially in times like these. And I'm saying times like these because I just want to be a little bit more elaborate on the perspective. Very much so. Yes, don't, a lot of people want to talk, don't talk about that. Don't talk about that. What's going on here in America? Don't talk about it. But we need to talk about it, because we cannot be silenced as Mexicans, as Latinos, as Hispanics, because this is real. We face this, and the fact that no one gives a platform to just give hope to the children, especially to the children who are breaking these generational trauma and generation, like just all this generational stuff, because I'm pretty sure, if you have not noticed, it's probably generational that we learn from this stuff, and we never know how to move on from it, because again, we don't have the support. We don't, some of these families unfortunately don't have the funds to go to a therapist or to go see a counselor, and it's hard, because even if you go to the school counselor, in my example Texas, those counselors will shut you down right away. They will not care about you, because they care more about someone that has a privileged life, of Hispanic, Latino, Mexican privileged life, rather than the Hispanic, Mexican, Latino, low income, good for nothing person. That's the reality. So I hope there, to end it all, to wrap it up, right? I just hope that these stories just bring more awareness and just puts things into perspective, for sure. And long long live these stories, because stories are what brings us united. I mean, back then they used to tell stories all the time around campfires, and some of them were funny, some of them were scary, but some of them were hopeful. And I hope to bring that platform to end these generational traumas, these curses, because they're real. And and we continue eating, and we always feel grateful to eat. I have not eaten ever since I started talking. But that's my 2 cents on that. Anyway, I'm planning my vacation trip. I need a vacation. My friend texted me that she was watching my live. So hey girl, you just saw me talk my smack. Anyway. I'm planning my vacation. I already put it in advance at my work. I'm ready. I'm ready. It's 2025 and I'm ready. Oh my god. What else is there? I didn't really think much. I think that's about it. Oh, I am trying to edit my video. I'm trying to finish it up. I'm trying to upload it ASAP as soon as it's done. Again, it's just one person, just me. But I'm very excited for this video. I wanted to put it out because I don't want to spoil it, but I do something new. And I think it will be fun to just share that experience because maybe someone else is like maybe someone else needs entertainment and just wants to like see the thought process behind something. So currently working on that. Hopefully I get to post that soon, which is why I'm doing this live, because I want to at least put something out. I want to put something out and connect with y'all and just see where everybody's at. But I think that's about it. I hope y'all doing good and being safe and recognize that you bring value and that your stories matter. I think that was the whole lesson out of this video, that your story matters. Don't ever feel like you need to shut it down or dim your light for someone else because F them. Why should you dim yourself? Lately I've been feeling like I should dim my light like this, like this. But it wouldn't be cute. Like it looks cute like this. You gotta shine bright. You gotta light a room. You gotta light the room. Oh yeah. So whenever you try to light yourself, like you're trying to light the room, there's gonna be people that's gonna try to dim you. Oh my god, I encountered that recently. And I was like, I have never experienced something as crazy as this. Like I have experienced crazy shit, but no, like this was a different kind of like, okay, if I could put tiers of craziness, this being very, very crazy and out of this world, I can't believe this ever happened to me. Like this should be scripted. To this was crazy, I could handle it. I will categorize it here. Because like again, why did it happen? But also crazy, Crazy that it happened. Never has it ever happened, but yeah. I guess that's the reality of being a YouTuber. The reality of being an influencer. No, I'm fighting battles. I feel like in every room that I tend to walk in, I try to be in rooms that are very much welcoming, which I feel like that's everybody's goal, right? But never in a room that you feel unwelcome by your community too. Now that is like someone stabbing you from the back. For real, that's literally like your enemy, like straight up. But hey, you gotta push through it. So what a crazy month. It's just February of 2025. Girl, so much has happened. And I'm ready. I'm ready to keep pushing. I mean, at some point it's gonna get better, no? Imagine if I did not. I'm crazy. I feel like this year is a year I'm trying to be more optimistic. Like I always been optimistic, but this year I'm trying to like be optimistic. Like I'm trying to be optimistic, like this is what I do now. Optimistic. No, for real. I've been scared of doing new things or connecting with new things just because I know that I'm awkward or I'll fail at doing those things. And so uh, the way I can say this more PG, again, not suited for kids. I specify that in every of my videos. But the one thing I want to say is that I want to learn how to ride a bicycle. Like I know how to ride an actual bicycle, like right? But to ride a bicycle, do you catch my drift? Yeah, because I feel like my core strength it's not there. Like it's not there when I try to ride a bicycle. And I'm trying to think about like why is it? And it's because I get really really insecure. I look, I'm all for being, you know, on the bike. I'm all for that. But like at one point it just kind of feels not cool. Or like to me it just feels uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable because no one's there to guide me into it. And I need that. I need that guidance. Um I don't know. And so I had an incident where I was trying to ride the bicycle. And for me, I get so self-conscious. Like I become so hyper aware about everything that I'm like, okay, I'm smelling something, but I don't know if it's me or you. And then I get to my head because I'm like, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? And then, and then there's no, like, for me, I don't feel that much pleasure from riding the bike, and so I'm kind of like just in this world of like self-conscious. In this world of self-conscious, like this world of self-conscious. Like this is okay, if this is my world, this is me. This is me in my self-conscious world. Like I'm just looking at what I could mess up and do wrong. This is literally me. And so that's something that I've been trying to learn, to be more confident per se in my abilities, because I know I can do it, but I think it's just like I need to maybe do more workout movements to ride the bike. And I guess that's also like another thing that I want to achieve. Not bad. I think we should express our desires freely too. That's another thing. We should never dim ourselves for anything. So that's something for 2025. I really don't have a bike. I really don't have a bike, so I think that's something that's gonna take my time. But that doesn't have to stop me from stretching every day. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta stretch, gotta do my workout, gotta get it pumping. I'm trying to have my summer body all year round. So like a healthy lifestyle. Right? Like if 2 plus 2 equals 4, then that should be the final answer. But it's so hard to stay committed to these things, and it takes a lot of discipline. And I've been learning that about myself this month, where if I really want things, I really need to have the discipline and the commitment. And it's like I don't have commitment issues. I really don't. I really don't. I don't have commitment issues. I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't have commitment issues. But for some reason, when I want to do something and do it like every day, or not per se every day, because at one point you'll get tired, but be consistent with it, I kind of get afraid of commitment there, Wait, is this a generational pattern? Like once you start growing older, you start to see like, you have generational issues. And that's what I'm facing. Those are my demon battles every day. That's so funny. Comment down below if you have generational trauma. I know y'all people of color do, for the most part. And slowly pick up that hand. Yeah, like this. Actually, oh my god, I don't know what it is, but I need people to stay out of my dreams. That's another thing. I need people to stay out of my dreams, because then I have the ancestral urges to like think about them and text them. But then again, that will be like toxic. Like obviously we're not on speaking terms in IRL. That's why you show up in my dreams, so I don't have to like actually reach out. Just because you come into my thoughts do not need to have actions. Every thought does not need to have an action. Thoughts are just thoughts. But I do have those urges. Like I feel like that's an ancestral thing. Like that's a generational thing too, where it's like I wanna reach out, or and I'm like, I'm breaking those too. Like this year, everybody getting blocked. And this year, they've been getting blocked, but this year 10 times more. 10 times more. Like 10 times more the blocks. Instagram's gonna be tired of me. Speaking of Instagram, I have this. Okay, guilty. I have this verified purchase thing. Yeah. I know at one point I was criticized by everyone. Oh my god, you buy the verified Instagram thing. It's not real. Anyway, I have it. I bought it. Girl, why did no one tell me that to change it? Like to change your profile thing, you have to go through this like process. And the process at the most doesn't believe it's you. So I think I'm gonna be stuck with the same profile pic until like I don't know, until something happens. Because right now if you don't follow me on Instagram, don't worry, you're not missing out. But on my Instagram profile pic, it's this like low quality image of Medusa, like Uma Thurman Medusa from Percy Jackson with her sunglasses on. And I have it on because at the time it represented me, and it still represents me, because like I could kill bitches with my eyes, I could kill, dressed to kill type of vibe. But now I'm at that elevated stage in my life where I kind of want to update my profile picture. I want to update my profile picture like any girl would do. But unfortunately, I have tried it multiple times, and Instagram does not think I'm real. I guess because my picture is just two IG goals. You know what I'm saying? Like hashtag IG goals. I can't believe it's real. And I'm like, girl, but then again, let me specify. My ID picture does not look anything like me. So I can kind of get the confusion, but like also like it's not that bad. Like, you know, when it's not that bad. But then again, when I go to bars and clubs and they check my ID, they think it's fake because they can't believe that picture is real. Yeah, they can't believe I'm real. That's just the whole gist of the joke. That's why, honestly, that's the biggest compliment ever. Like, I know everybody wants to have a good, like, bomb, like ID passport picture, but if I have one that doesn't look that great of me, and I pull up to the club all full beat, all amazing, like pelo hasta acá, like largo, they're gonna question my ID and think it's fake because they can't believe I'm real. They can't believe that's my age. Biggest like ego boost right there. Like y'all keep missing out. Like y'all, I'm thinking future ahead. You know, I'm thinking into the future. I'm thinking like 10 times. My light died. That future no bright no more. Chingao. That was a sign from the universe. That was a sign. That was a sign. But anyways, I hope you all enjoy this live stream of chatting with me. I love these, honestly, because it just helps me connect with y'all. It really does. And even though you may not see this during the live time, you see this in your own time. But, you know, chime in. Say whatever you want to say. Speak your truth. You speak your truth here and it stays here. And it stays, it literally does. It stays here until whenever, right? But drink your water. Girl, stay hydrated. You gotta stay hydrated, especially for the summer. And that's it. I'll talk to y'all soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.